everyone, how's it going? These are not Raspberry Pis. These are actually Orange Pi 5s, and they are mining Verus Coin at about 6 3/4 mega hash at around 8 to 8.5 watts each. Let's go down to the Mad Lab and build another one. So yes, this is my third Orange Pi that I just got in the other day. It's based off the Rockchip RK3588S SoC. This is the successor to the 3399, I believe, and it's over twice as fast. So it's great. And the reason why I went with Orange Pi versus another brand, there are a few other SBC or single board computer manufacturers that are also using this exact same SoC chip, the 3588S, is they are the cheapest. This is the base model, 4 gigs of RAM, no eMMC memory, no Wi-Fi, no extra frills. It just gives you the CPU, a single HDMI, Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB 3s, and a USB 2. That's more than what we need for CPU mining. But the first thing we got to do before we even try flashing any operating system onto a micro SD card, we need a cooling solution because we're going to be mining off this. So what we're going to do, comes a little extra. We're going to put the exact same fans as you saw on the other one. So let's do that. It's not too hard to figure them out, but that's literally all you get for instructions. So it at least shows you which way the screws are going to go through. Let me get this assembled. I'm not going to drag you through this, and then we'll continue. So there you go. Now it's assembled. And if you don't stack them like I did out in the shed, it actually even comes with, the heatsink comes with a little acrylic bottom that also protects it, keeps it from shorting out. Now for power, if you look on their 28 pin, if I get this out of the way, the furthest away pins right over here, you want to connect positive to the second pin. So let's do that. Just like that. And then negative right next to it on the third pin right there, and that will give the fan 5 volts. So now that we got this done, let's go ahead and transfer on over to the desktop for pretty much everything else. So the first thing you need to do before we get this thing running is shoot on over to the orangepi.org website and find the Orange Pi 5 page. Once you're on here, up in the upper left is your download section. Scroll on down here, and we want an Ubuntu image. It's going to take you to a Google Drive with a bunch of images in here. And for me, it worked perfectly fine if we use the Ubuntu Jammy server. So I've already downloaded that, and that is right here. And we're going to use Balana Etcher to put this on the micro SD card. So what we're going to do, grab our random Patriot 16 gigabyte micro SD card, that's all we need, and put it in our little USB adapter. And there we go. You can see it popped up. It's empty. It's just a 16 gigabyte volume. This will basically be the same whether you're on Linux or Windows. This is Linux Mint you're seeing me run right here. So we're going to open up Balana Etcher. We're going to flash from a file. On our downloads, I've already extracted it. It's in a 7-zip file, so you got to extract it, and you'll get this Orange Pi 5 Ubuntu Jammy server.img, an image file. So double-click that. It's going to go directly to my 16 gig card. Make sure you're selecting the right drive, and simple as that, flash. And in Linux, you need to put a password. So give it a few minutes to write this image. And there we go. It is done writing it. So we can remove the micro SD card out of the computer now. Okay, we're going to grab our little micro SD, and that is going to go right in the corner here with a nice little click. Yeah, right there. So two other things we need to connect to here, one being Ethernet, because this does not have Wi-Fi on it. You have to run Ethernet. So click. Simple as that. And we need power. For power, this takes USB-C, but for this demonstration, I'm also going to be going through this nice little device here, which when activated, when I got power going through it, will tell us volts, watts, amps, amp hours, everything else. So this will let us know how efficient this Orange Pi 5 is while we're actually mining. Now, when plugging in power, because there are two USB-C ports here. You got one right by the headphone jack, and then you got another one on the other side of the HDMI. We're going to be plugging power into the one by the audio jack. And there we go. You can see we have lights. She's going to start booting up. You do have two little lights up here that give you power and activity information as it boots up. See, there you go, starting to blink. And come on over here to the little display. We can see we have 5 volts, half an amp. It's pulling about 3 watts right now. And the temperature is just this unit itself. So don't worry about that part. So let's let it boot up. So the next thing you got to do is find out the IP address of this unit. One, you can plug a screen into it, and it'll probably tell you as it's done booting up, and it'll tell you the IP address right on the screen. Or you can do this. Find your router. In my case, I have a Unified Dream Machine Pro, and find it right here. So here's my IP address. That's the switch it's currently plugged into here. So we're going to SSH into the Orange Pi. So if you're on Windows, you're going to do this in PuTTY. I'm in Linux, so we're just going to do this directly from the command line. Basically, everything's still the same. So what we're going to do is, and SSH, username is Orange Pi at 192.168.1.127. And of course, this is my first time connected to this Orange Pi, so it's not sure. Just type Y, yes. Okay, it wants yes. There we go. Now, what's the password? Also, Orange Pi. There you go, we're in. So if you're using PuTTY on Windows, username and password default is Orange Pi, all lowercase. And then just give you some basic information here. 24 security updates available, 37 updates total, apt upgrade. You can do an Orange Pi config, which there's no reason for us to even get in there. What I like to do, the first thing, is a sudo apt upgrade. Type in the password, Orange Pi. Actually, no, I did it wrong. Update. Do an update first, then an upgrade. Okay, now we can do an upgrade. Okay, all these things need to be upgraded. This is the first time, and probably the only time you really need to do this. This gets all the security updates. Just type in Y. This will probably take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So again, sit back, relax, enjoy a coffee. Be back in a second. Okay, so now it is fully updated. So the next thing I'd like to do is just do a quick reboot, just to make sure. So we're going to do a sudo reboot now. And you can see the connection's closed. On PuTTY, it will just close the window. It'll say, sorry, closed by remote key or something like that. So give it about a minute and a half and then log back in. And we are back in. You can see everything's running perfectly fine. CPU temperature, 29C. Idling, just under 2 watts. 1.8 or 1.9 watts. That's it. So that's idle for you. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put a link to this GitHub page down in the video description below. So make sure you look for that. This is by Oink70. Did I pronounce that wrong, dude? Sorry if I did. I didn't mean to butcher it. He is very active in the Verus community, especially on Discord. And he made up this nice little setup that helps you install a custom version of CC Miner that's been optimized for ARM. Now, this is usually set up for Android phones. We can also use the exact same setup in Ubuntu server itself. So, first thing you're going to do if you want is an LS CPU. We don't need to do that because we know we're using an ARM 64-based CPU. So, we're good. So, we're going to copy this command right here, this curl command. Copy that. Come back in here, paste it, and just hit enter. It's going to ask you for your password. So we are set to go. So what we're going to do now is we need to edit the config.json file, which will have all of your mining information in it. So nano config.json. Wrong spot. Control X. Ls. Oh. Change directory cc miner ls. There's the config.json. Now we can go up and do the nano config.json. There's the information we need. So to edit this, what I'm going to do, shrink this down a little bit, bring this over. I have over here, this is another one of my orange pies I showed at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to use this as a cheat sheet for myself. So again, I'm going to do change directory cc miner. I'm going to do nano config.json. I forgot to change the name on here for third pull or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Either which way, I'm using luck pull for this. So we're going to copy here. Come on over here. That's right. This is all text-based. The interface is kind of weird through SSH. Get rid of all this. Oh, one too many. Gotta keep the carrots. Paste. Okay, that's good right there. We're going to get rid of this extra stuff here. So we only need, we can basically get down to here. We need that part. This is basically a failback. If for some reason luck pull doesn't answer, it's a fallback, but we don't need it. There we go. Okay, so now we need to copy over my wallet address and the username. Crap. Copy. There we go. Back over here. Going to paste that in, and I'm going to change this from username orangepie 5-worker1 to worker 3 because I got 1 and 2 out there in the shed. We're going to leave it on 8 threads. We want to use the whole CPU, CPU priority 1, retry pause 5. Everything else is basically the same. That's the only things you had to change was the URL for whichever pool you choose to use and your username, which is your wallet address, and the worker name. That's the only things you have to change in here. So when you're done, you're going to do a Control X, save modified buffer, Y for yes, and just hit enter to write that file back down. It gives you back to the command prompt. So while you're still in the CC miner folder, now to actually start the miner, what we're going to do is a // I always get those messed up, and start.sh. And it says mining started. Manual start and stop. We want to actually see what it's doing. So what we're going to do is type in right here screen dash lowercase x capital CC miner. This gets us in. Now we can actually see CC miner starting up and getting ready to mine on this Orange Pi 5 itself. Let's give it a few minutes there. And now we can see we are getting accepted hashes. 6.7 mega hash. And let's look at the power. With the fan running, with everything sitting here running perfectly fine, we are currently doing, if I get this in the right spot here, 1.79 amps or 8 watts. So, bear with me here for 30 seconds. You're going to love this. Let me pull up a calculator. Okay, so hash to watt ratio. So we're pulling 8 watts divided by 6.75 mega hash. That gives us a hash to watt ratio. We're getting 1 mega hash is 1.18 watts. Now, here's the kicker. Let's compare it to a 3900X. So 3900X does 100 watts divided by 27 mega hash. 3.7 watts per mega hash on Verus. That's how much more efficient an Orange Pi 5 is than a 3900X, a 5900X. I don't know about the 7900 or the 7000 series. I haven't played with it yet. Rabbit Mining has. I'm sure it's probably still not as efficient as this for watts to mega hash. That's why I don't mind spending a little extra money for this, even though you get less mega hash. It's so efficient. You can run this on solar. I may do a video on that soon. So wait, no, don't leave. We're not done. You got the miner running. You got everything configured. But what happens if you lose power? Then you got to SSH back into it and tell it to start.sh all over again. Let's make it so this way, every time you lose power and you regain power to it, it automatically restarts that script. Now, to keep this running in the background, which it is, it's using a program called Screen. So it opens it up. I can safely exit out of this and it will keep running in the background. But we're not done. So what we're going to do is a Control A, let go, and then do a D. That's going to get us back to the command line and it's still running in the background. I'll prove it to you. Program called HTOP shows you what's going on with the CPU, and you can see every single CPU here, CPU core and thread, whatever, is pegged at 100%. So it's still running perfectly fine in the background, and you can see all the applications here, each string of it. So again, we're going to do an, unfortunately I can't do an F10 in here. It gets kind of weirded out. I'll just do a Control C. There we go. So what we're going to do, I need to get my cheat sheet here real quick. It's called cron tab -E. Okay, so what? Now let me pull it up on the new one. Cron tab -E. First time you've ever used it, it's going to ask you which editor you want to use. Let's just keep using Nano. So select number 1. And you can see it's the exact same as my cheat sheet, except for that one white line at the bottom there. So what we're going to put down here is at reboot tilde. I think that thing's called a tilde -cc miner -start.sh. That's it. We're going to do a Control X. Want to save the modified buffer, hit Y and hit enter to save that file. Don't touch anything else, just enter. What we just did is told it every time it loses power or it reboots or whatever, it will restart the miner. Let's test this. So let's issue a sudo reboot now. There goes the connection. Let's let it come back again real quick. Okay, let's log back in. I accidentally put a space in there. There we go. And we can see system load 41%. It's getting ready and it's getting started up. So what we're going to do is that screen command again. But it should be saved in the buffer. So use the up arrow key. You see all the stuff we typed in before? There's our screen command to get back in. Let's look at it. Give it a few seconds. Had problems connecting the luck pool there for a minute. Says we're pulling 8 watts. Right there. We're pulling 6, 7, 8 watts. There we go. Now we're getting hashes again. Let's give it a few seconds for it to ramp up in speed. And there we go. It didn't take long. You can see we're getting 6.8 mega hash. Fluctuates a little bit. And yeah, 8 watts again. That's it. 8 watts. So now what we're going to do again is the Control A, let go, and D. That's it. And we can just close out the window. Again, on PuTTY, just close out the window. It's going to keep running in the background. Remember, it idles at about 2 watts. Still pulling 8 watts. We're good. And here is my luck pull page. I have not refreshed it yet since we started this unit. Let's refresh it. And you can see they bounce around a little bit. If we click on here and here, we can see it averages right around 6 3/4 mega hash. Perfect. So let's get the third one to show up. There it is. And you can already see 7.51. Not much history yet because we just got it up and running. But there you go. Proof in the pudding, baby. So that's all I got for you in this video. Amazon affiliate links for the Orange Pi 5 and the fan will be down in the video description below. The link to Oink70 Github will be down in the video description below. Thumbs up, please. Come say hi over at the Misfit Mining Discord. Link for that, guess what? It's down in the video description below. And I will see you on the next video.